back, third last outside of La Moulin, and 2.5 lengths away to Haywire. A good 10 lengths first to last, 1,200 metres out. Starry Way pulling hard, went to the front. Got 3/4 of a length in front now from Miss Peridot. Prenuptials are half back the outside, 2 lengths to Love to Honour. Isles races in the clear from Go Joy, Carmelina the fence. They were followed out wider on the track by Burning Palms, Rose of Tralee. Then came La Moulin on the fence. Zar Royale is well back. She's second last, spotting the leaders a good 9 lengths and a length away to Haywire. Over the crossing at the 800 and Starry Way in front. Miss Peridot again goes up on the fence to be at a girth. A length away, moving around them, Prenuptial. She's had a good run. 2 lengths to Love to Honour. Came off the fence, improving. They were followed by Carmelina, Isles, Burning Palms with nowhere to go from La Moulin, Go Joy, Rose of Tralee. Zar Royale is spinning the leaders a pretty big start. She must be 7 or 8 from the lead, and Haywire's last of all. Starry Way straightens at the 400 metres mark in front. Prenuptials canted up on the outside to tackle her. 2 lengths Carmelina, then to the outside Love to Honour, but Starry Way's out full of running at the top of the rise. 250 to run. Starry Way, York released the brakes and she shot away. She's 4 lengths in front of Prenuptial, Carmelina, Love to Honour, La Moulin, Burning Palms, Zar Royale, but Starry Way is blowing them away. Starry Way, full bore to the line, wins by 4 lengths on the line. Getting up for second, Carmelina, La Moulin, possibly third from Love to Honour, then Prenuptial, Zar Royale. Further back in the field of Burning Palms, Haywire well back with Go Joy, Isles, Rose of Tralee, and Miss Peridot jaded badly to run last.
Well, she might have been 4 wide early. She might have pulled her head off, but she got the prize. Number 2, Starry Way, $3.10 and $1.70 in New South Wales. Number 10, Carmelina, $3.40, and it's a photo for third. I feel that La Moulin, number 7, might have just arrived in time. If she has, she'll pay $7.20 for third. But as we pick them up here, the bird has flown. Starry Way shot right away. Great Oaks trial. In the green colours, that's Carmelina running into second spot. Now, down the outside in what looks like white and pink colours is La Moulin, and I feel that she's probably just got there in time to snare third prize. It is now official. 2, 10 and 7 are the numbers on the Adrian Knox Stakes, the Star City Adrian Knox Stakes, race 6 here on Derby Day. And Simon Marshall, Brian York sure had a handful there. He had a very, very tough ride.
Yeah, no doubt whatsoever. Kenny won very well, Brian. She's a good Oaks trial, you'd think.
Yeah, she'll run the trick all right, and she just kept getting stronger.
Yeah, let's talk about it. She just kicked the back of the gates before we jumped, but she was A-OK.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with her. She had a bit of skin off, so they wanted to have a look at her, but she's OK.
Fair enough, too. You're riding Al Mansour in the Doncaster on his best form. You'd give him a chance, but, geez, he has to lift a little bit.
Yeah, but his last one wasn't too bad. They went 100 mile an hour in front. He led him, and he didn't finish that far away, so I'll be giving him a rough chance.
Fair enough, too. Kenny, back to you.
OK, thank you very much, Simon. And as Brian York brings Starry Way back after winning the Adrian Knox Stakes, she'll be a major contender now for the AJC Oaks. We'll take a break, and don't you forget, the next one is the big one, the Doncaster on Sports Saturday. She is Starry Way streaking away to win the Star City Adrian Knox Stakes, and I can tell you that weight is now correct, and we can declare you the winning dividends on 2, 10 and 7. Starry Way $3.10, $1.70. Carmelina $3.40. La Moulin $7.20. The Quinilla $24.70, and if you had the trifecta, $559. What a beauty. All right, here's the latest tote prices on the Doncaster. Catalan opening at $16, Juggler at $8.60, Dodge at $40, Iron Horse at $55, Al Mansour $64, Dracula $14, Foxwood $52, Rustic Dream $10. Over the page we go, and we find that number 9 is Anthems at $38. Mosman at Anthems out to $40. Mosman $14. Referral $9. Zuccarino was scratched this morning. Sunline $2.90 into $2.70 for tote punters. Adam at $20. Pallia at $136. Mr. Innocent seems to be good odds at $30. TAB number 17 is Bonanova at $59. Lease, I give him a good chance at $28. Zapor at $69. Jade Tights $127. Morphy $29. 9, and Shinkansi was scratched, or he was the second emergency. He wasn't required. Well, it's common knowledge that the favourite is Sunline. She's a real flyer from over there in Auckland in New Zealand, or to be more correct, from Takanini. She's had 11 starts, she's won 10, and the only big question mark now is, can she produce the form against all comers that she's produced against the fillies? Well, there's plenty of people to say that she can. Michael Maher has the story.
One theory as to why Sunline travels so fast is that the filly is trying to part company with her male jockey as soon as possible. Strapper Claire Bird will tell you Sunline prefers the feminine touch. Does she like men though?
Oh, she doesn't mind them. She just prefers to have girls around. She just gets on with girls better most of the time.
So she took to you straight away?
Yeah. I've always got on with her pretty good. When we've had our moments and that, but she's always been pretty good. She's just like a human. If she's in a bad mood, she'll let you know.
But as a 2-year-old, the highly spirited Sunline was no man's friend. When she came into the stable of Trevor McKee and son Steve in Auckland, she decided racing was not for her.
She's always a very tough horse. She gave the breaker a lot of trouble in the first place, and then when he sent it to us, she was still bucking, so we sent her back for him to redo her again. And
But she had to go back for a second time?
Yeah, that's right. She was very tough. So, and then when we went to the first trial with her, she bucked the young girl off that was riding her, and went a lap of the track on her own. So we were disgusted with her then, so we sent her back and sent her around in the trial, and she was about 15 lengths last coming to the corner and ran on and passed 4 in a straight over a half-mile trial. So she showed us ability that day, but temperament-wise, it took a bit of ironing out.
So early on there, if you'd wanted to, you could have bought her pretty cheaply.
Yeah, that's right.
But when did you start to have faith in it, Steve?
Oh, she'd always showed us plenty on the track, and you know, it was from the second trial on, she won really good, fast time, and she was progressively getting better on the track too. So you know, she just kept improving from then on.
Well, they presented her 4 times, and 4 times she's been too good. And
by the time she'd won her 4th straight race in New Zealand, it was clear Sunline was looking for tougher opposition. When that came in the Furious Stakes at Randwick last August, she easily passed the test. There was the step up to Group 2 with victory in the T-Rose. Then to Group 1 in the 1,600 metres of the Flight Stakes at Randwick.
But he hit the detonator button and she exploded away, Sunline. Raced 3 lengths to Camarina, and she'll make it 7 out of 7. The champion New Zealand filly's home in the Flight Stakes, wins 3 lengths on the line.
Next preparation, she's going to be better.
Yeah.
You know, she's done everything that's been put to her for now. I just think next preparation, God knows how good she'll be.
A minor foot injury in Melbourne ended any thoughts of further glory in that first Australian preparation, and the McKees had some rebuilding to do. There was a 17-week spell until a first up run at Ellerslie.
Sunline punched along, Delphix trying hard after, but Sunline's 1 1/2 length.
This week's robust horse has taken time to peak this preparation. In her first Australian start of the autumn, she succumbed, for the very first time, to Rosa Ward. Larry Cassidy's sideways glances gave the hint that the horse wasn't quite ready.
She actually sort of fell away a fair bit in condition shortly after getting injured, and lost, you know, a lot of that natural muscle that she'd built up through the spring with racing. So she just sort of gradually put it back on, and she's more or less back to the stage where she was at the end of the spring campaign now.
But in the CUNY Stakes, the filly was back on track. The girl atop Sunline for most of her track work is in no doubt about the way the horse has come back.
Definitely, she's a lot stronger than she was last time. A lot stronger. You just feel it when you ride her. She's just so much stronger.
Do you find it hard to hold her back sometimes?
Sometimes, just when she wants to go. Sometimes, yeah. You have a few arguments with her, but she's not the type of horse that would ever bolt on you or anything. Well, not on me.
It was when Greg Childs let Sunline go in the Moonee Valley Oaks a fortnight ago, leaving the challenging Grand Archway in her wake, that many of Sunline's sceptics were converted.
But Childs slipped the favourite a little leather, and Sunline is going to scoot 2 lengths in front around the home turn. Grand Archway is trying hard, but it's on heart alone at this stage.
Even after that emphatic win, followers are left to ponder how Sunline copes with the searching challenge of competing for the first time against open company. Whether, like mares Emancipation, Skating and Magic Flute, she can beat the men in the Doncaster.
She's got a pretty high cruising speed, you know, even in the flight stakes, the first 800-metre sectional was quicker than the Epsom. And that was with Bazille Bay and Adam, you know, appearing to really hear along in front. So, you know, she can be deceiving. She's one of those deceiving gallopers that's sort of not doing as much as what you think.
Steve McKee has no doubt this is the best horse to come through the family stable. She's already won more than $1 million. On the eve of one of racing's most prestigious events, if you believe him, Steve's not feeling the pressure.
Not with a horse like her, because, I mean, every time we've put pressure on her, she's delivered for us. So, you know, I mean, she's won 10 out of 11, so, I mean, she's never let us down yet, so it's basically up to her. She's run the times and not only run the times, but she's had a margin up her sleeve as well. You've got to make up that leeway and then try and pass them, which is also a difficult thing to do. So, you know, we're probably confident without being cocky.
What a filly, and a worthy favourite for the Doncaster. We'll have more Doncaster mail for you after this break on Sports Saturday.
Double-strength Dragons have yet to impress. Now they take on competitors North Sydney. It's their first game from WIN Stadium. The atmosphere might just lift them to a win. St George Illawarra take on Norths Sunday.
Well, Steve, a big thrill today. Your first Doncaster runner referral. It was a super run last start, wasn't it?
It was a good run. I think he's improved a little bit from then too. He'll be hard to beat today.
He's had 2 runs from the spell. First up at Warwick Farm and then the George Ryder. First time at Weight for Age, he certainly proved that he could mix it with the big boys.
He excelled himself at Rosehill in the Ryder. You know, I think he's sort of making him a nice horse. Next time in, it'll be exciting for us.
Well, if he can better what he's doing now, he'll certainly be some horse. He won the Villiers in the summer, and that's not an easy race to win.
No, coming from a maiden to Kemmler, you know, he's done a big job. You know, 14 starts, he's gone from a Kemmler maiden to a second favourite in a Doncaster, so he's come a long way.
How's he done throughout the week since his last run?
He's eaten his head off, and his work's been outstanding. I'm very, very pleased with him, mate.
Good, thanks for your time, and all the best.
Thanks, Darren.
Yes, Stephen Engelbrecht speaking with Darren Beedman about an hour ago, and referral, of course, the horse I was speaking about, one of the Doncaster fancies. He ran last Saturday in the Ryder Stakes at Rosehill, or a fortnight ago, and he's in the blue and white, comes from near the tail of the field, but also watch the horse in the blue and white halves called Rustic Dream. His was a super run, an old juggler, like that's Rustic Dream's the widest horse at the moment. Juggler just inside him actually crosses wider. Rustic Dream goes through inside, and they're chasing referral now, who's just ahead of them on the outside of Mosman. Some great runs here, Darren.
It was. The front markers went very hard. It just made it for these back horses, back markers. But they'll certainly all finish probably in the first half a dozen in this race.
Simon O'Donnell, Rustic Dream might have been coming home better than anything.
Yeah, I think he was coming home better than anything. Look, it was probably just a touch short for him. Obviously, the 1500, he'll appreciate the mile today. He's a genuine horse. He goes out there and gives everything every time he goes out there. So he's got to be a chance.
Rustic Dream is trained by Mick Price, who's now with Andrew Voss.
So what is the ideal run? What's the instruction to Denny? Okay, he's drawn barrier 10, which that was my pick of the gates. I'd like to see him just rear of midfield, probably a little bit further back than midfield, going to the first corner. He's got to start getting a little bit instant from the half mile. He's got to be chiming in at the top of the straight. I'd like to see him probably about 3 lengths off from 200 metres to go. Now, drawn 10 in the middle of those horses where a lot of Doncaster winners come from, I think he should have every chance. Got a few options from that gate anyway.
All right, Mick Price speaking about Rustic Dream. Darren and I both think that the best roughie in the race is Lease. He ran last Saturday in the Tulloch Stakes and he beat Lawyer. Lawyer didn't run so hot in the Derby, but it was a nice win by Lease, Darren.
It was. He's always showed a lot of promise, especially you go back to the winter last year, and he really muscled down. Lawyer looked like he had his measure, had Lease's measure, but he fought on strongly, and it was a good, convincing win, I thought, Kenny.
Yeah, probably this horse is hitting its peak too, because his run prior to this was in the Cadbury Guineas, and it was really the horse that shone in that race as much as Dignity Dancer won it. He was really flying home at the end, so it's probably that this horse is really hitting his straps.
Okay, well, that was speaking about Lease. As we go for a break now, let's have a listen to what Graham Begg's got to say about his charge, Bonanova. Graham Begg, are you pleased with the way Bonanova's done leading into the Doncaster?
Yeah, Ken, I'm absolutely delighted the way she's done. We've sort of on purposely given her the 3 weeks between the runs from the Coolmore to the Doncaster, and she's been racing very, very well with the races being spaced, so you know, we're very happy with her going into the race.
Camino Rose starting to fly, and here's Dipman and Bonanova. Bonanova on the outside, Dipman extracting everything out of her. She's after Camino Rose. Camino Rose in front, hangs on and wins the Coolmore Classic. Camino Rose first, Bonanova second.
Graham, she's drawn in the middle of the field. You'll probably get back in the second half?
Yeah, no doubt she'll get back in the second half. You know, I don't envisage her being back last or anything like that. I think last time it was really the gate that beat her. She had to go back, you know, she drew 15 and had to go back further, and probably Mick wanted her to. You know, she'll be back in the second part of the field and hopefully looking for a clear run down the outside.
Ready to cheer on from the Ledger home?
Certainly. I just hope she can go one better than Telesto, Big Brother, because he got beat a nose and that photo finished with Pharaoh and Kingston Bay, so we're looking to go one better.
Went past us as the horses started to parade beside this magnificent Randwick grandstand, and I think we should look at the totes before we go into the parade. Number 1, Catlan opening at $18, Juggler at $9.20, Dodge 43, 62 for Iron Horse, 64 for Al Mansour, Dracula $15, Foxwood 52, Rustic Dream $11, well in commission. Number 9, Anthems 42, Mosman at 14, $8.50 for Referral in from $9, Sunline solid as a rock at $2.70, $21 for Adam Pallier, $140, $31 for Mr. Innocent. Number 17 is Bonanova at $56, Lisa at $27, Zapor at $65, Jade Tights $133, Morphe at $29, and Shinkansi is a scratching. Pretty dominant favourite, $2.70 in a field of 20. Okay, we're going to start with our old mate Juggler. Catlan opening just waiting to come into parade, and we'll start with number 2, Juggler. Darren Beedman, do you want to open the bowling?
Yeah, well, he is an absolute war horse, this bloke, as you can see. He's 7 years old. He's got the jockey of the moment on board, Glenn Boss, and he looks absolutely brilliant, this horse. Gay Waterhouse has got to look him in exceptional order. He's run a second and a third in this race, and maybe's the day that he can go one better.
They tell me that her 4 persons, Steve and Leslie Dennett, just love this horse, and they put a lot of time into him, and gee, he looks a treat.
He does. Gay's really, really pleased, and so's Glenn.
Rightio, there's number 3, Simon Dodge. Won an Epsom here, but I think he's a bit out of form at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit out of form. Hasn't won a race this preparation. The closest he's finished is 4th, so he'd need a little bit of improvement, I think, to knock off the filly.
Iron Horse used to be trained by Gay Waterhouse. It's now with John Morrish, and John Powell will have the ride.
Yeah, he's a sort of a bold running type of horse. He put a good run in 2 starts back at Newcastle, but a little bit disappointing last start when he ran 8th in the George Ryder. I really see him hard turning the tables from gate 21 today.
Number 5, tailing behind him is Al Mansour. Formerly trained by Bruce McLaughlin, is now in the Randwick stables of John Size, and Brian York will ride him.
Yes, John Size probably wouldn't have had a long period of time really to get a line on El Mansour. He is a quality performer, but his last couple of runs have been pretty disappointing, although they did go very hard in the George Ryder, so there was reasons for him to drop back through the field. So if the pace isn't on and he's sat somewhere near there, he's probably an each-way chance.
A couple of weeks ago, I thought this horse was going to be perhaps second favourite in the Doncaster. He's just gone out of favour after his last run in the George Ryder. It's Dracula, and he's to be ridden by Greg Child.
Yeah, you can see him taped up there pretty well behind. He was a little bit disappointing last start, and there may have been a few excuses for that. I wouldn't put him out of your trifectas. I think he's got a super chance in the race.
Number 7 is the New Zealand mare Foxwood. We saw her last run at in New Zealand at Tauranga on the show earlier.
Yeah, look, again, don't underestimate the Kiwis coming across, but first start here, this preparation in such a tough race, she'd have to be spot on.
Rustic Dream, well, we've spoke about him. Great run in the George Rider. He looks pretty spot on too, Darren.
He does, and one thing, this horse has been set for the race. So when a trainer sets a horse for the race, you know it's got a very, very good chance.
And already a Group 1 winner in the Futurity, so he's not badly treated with just 54 kilos. Number 9, trailing him up, is Anthems. An exciting horse as a young horse, but not so exciting now, Simon.
Yeah, another one of those horses that showed plenty early on, and we thought he had Derby prospects, etc. as a young horse, and he's just fallen away a little bit. And again, this preparation, his form hasn't been that flash.
Handsome Colt is number 10, Mosman. He's to be ridden by Shane Dye and the trainer, Harry Connors.
It was a good third last start in the George Rider Stakes, but this horse has been mixing it against Dignity Dancer in Melbourne. He's had a couple of hard runs, but in saying that, he's probably the best looking horse in the enclosure.
Another Group 1 weight for age winner is the horse in screen now, Referral, Simon.
Yeah, Steve Inglebrett has spoken about him and just how well he's done. Look, he's a horse that I think has been underestimated right up to his last run, and suddenly he's right in this race up to his ears.
Number 12, Zuccarino, is a scratching. Number 13 is the champion filly. 11 starts, 10 wins, Sunline.
There you see her. She's on the toe a little bit. Don't be too perturbed about that. Larry Cassidy on board. She looks exceptionally well, the filly, and she's another one that's also been prepared for this type of race.
I think it's fair to say at Randwick here today that the on-pace horses have a little bit of an advantage. The track seems to be playing that way, and one horse who will really race up on the speed, he'll be in the first 3 or 4, is Adam, Kevin Moses Mountain, the last start winner. Yeah,
he's had a good feel of the ground today, Kevin Moses. He's had a good win earlier on, and he felt in his interview with Simon Marshall that Adam had a good each way chance.
All right, well, there they are walking around, and along comes number 15, the Kiwi, Palia, to be ridden by Kiwi jockey Noel Harris.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah. A nice mare, but probably just form started to taper off, and pretty hard from 18 out there.
I was only going to say, Darren, trained by Larry Laxon, the man who's had such good mares as Empire Rose and Champagne. There's Mr. Innocent, to be ridden by Mick Dittman, and he's a last start winner too, Simon.
Yeah, won his last start at Group 2 level, carrying 55.5. Now, this is tougher against the open age horses, but I must think that with 50.5, 5 kilos less, he's going to appreciate the weight drop.
Darren would have seen plenty of this next mare, Bonanova. Eddie Wilkinson's riding her for Graham Big.
She's bred in the purple, and she's a striking-looking black or brown mare. A good run last start, put the riding on the wall with a good second in a mare's race. A super lightweight chance.
I think a good lightweight chance is number 18, Lease. He won well last week, and there he is.
Yeah, I agree with you too, Kenny. I think he's a horse on the way up and is really peaking for today's race. The difficulty probably being coming back from the 2,000 metres only a week ago.
Number 19 is Poor. To be ridden by Luke Curry for Melbourne trainer David Hall.
Yeah, well, he can certainly run a strong mile, this horse. He's been placed a bit over 2,000 metres, but whether he's quite up to this grade's another thing.
Number 20 is Jade Tights, wearing the colours that many of John Wheeler's horses carry.
I would like to have seen them on Rough Habit, not so much Jade Tights in this race, but Kenny, I wouldn't back Jade Tights with your money, to be honest.
You're not getting any of my money. There's number 21, Morphy, trained by Darren's old mate Bart Cummings.
Yeah, well, he's a nice horse, but whether this race is a little bit rich for him, I just don't think he's quite got the zip.
Alrighty. Bart's also got Catalan Opening in the race, so he went out a little earlier, and I can assure you he looked the part as well. There he is, Catalan Opening. We're not going to fault him, Darren.
No, last year's winner. He's the top weight in the race, and now the ground's firmed up a little bit. It's going to come into his hands.
All right, they're ready for action, and we'll be back to see it all on Sports Saturday. To the Doncaster, the crowd are in the stands, and oh, by golly, the crowd is in the stands, I should say, and what a crowd it is. Sensational crowd to watch the AJC Star City Doncaster. And the Channel 9 man, of course, is Shane Dye. Shane's riding Mosman, and here's his tactics.
Now, with 20 runners from the mile and the Doncaster today, I don't care what barrier you've got. Barrier 20 is just as good as Barrier 1. Now, there's a bit of pace in this race, and normally in Doncasters they go along. Adam from the inside will probably lead, but then you've got Al Mansour from a wide barrier. He's going to come across. Sunline will go forward from her middle barrier, and she's going to get a lovely run in the race. The horse I'm on, Mossman, should be running 3rd or 4th on the fence, just waiting for the last crack at them. Other chances like Catlin Opening, Juggler, they'll be running midfield. What you got to do in the mile at Randwick is at the half mile, when you go over the crossing, look for a horse who's going really good and one of the favourite runners to follow into the race, because you don't want to be getting held up with 20 runners. If you get held up turning for home, throw away your winning chance. You just can't win. Sunline will get into the clear turning for home. Hopefully I'll get into the clear on Mossman, and Juggler will be coming late. So will Lease. It's one hell of a derby field, and it's going to be a great finish.
All right, Andrew Voss is still in the betting ring. Andrew, is Sunline all the rage up there?
Oh, Kenny, fair dinkum. It's been like a stampede for Sunline. If it does win here, the bookies are going to take an absolute hammering. Massive bets for it, consistent all the way through betting. It is all the rage, Sunline. The only other one under double figures is Referral. There's been some solid money for it. The other chances, the likes of Rustic Dream and Juggler, have both been a bit easy, but it is all the rage, Sunline.
Yeah, well, she might be. Yeah, I reckon about 6-4 or something. And no, it's not bad odds. Simon Marshall, how does she look?
Well, Kenny, Larry Cassidy's just waltzed past me here and he said, nearly as good as looker as Claudia Schiffer, don't you think, Simon? Well, he's have to say he's nice, quietly and confident about his chances, and she does look superb. You could eat your sandwich crumbs off her, Kenny. I thought that also Juggler came around nice and relaxed. Glenn Boss has got the legs out of the irons. He's just stretching the legs, and he's nice and relaxed, Juggler too. Looked very well. Catlin Opening had a real good warm-up on the way around. Jimmy Cassidy warmed his bones right up. Looked fantastic. Greg Hall, Dodge, he sweated up a little bit on the neck, but he did look very fit. Also, Dracula took the eye as well. Greg Childs' mount. He's nice and relaxed, sweated up a little bit. He's got bandages on his back legs, but that's only because he probably speedy cuts, gets to hit himself every now and then. He does look fine. Also, Iron Horse looked just fair. It's going to struggle a little bit. Now, Rustic Dream come around nice and quiet. This is a horse that's really thrived since coming to Sydney. Of course, he is from Melbourne, where I'm based, and now I'd have to say he looks better for being in Sydney, Ken. Not a problem whatsoever. Referral has tightened up, looks fantastically well, with the drop in weight on his back as well. Mossman, well, if anything, Clary's probably put the edge back on him, tried to freshen him up a little bit so he could have that speed, that edge on over the mile. He looked fine, couldn't fold him. Anthems also looked fantastic coming around, and a couple of the back markers. Adam looked pretty good too. Kenny Lease, he's an interesting runner. I think that he looks very fit and forward, and funny enough, he missed the Derby to be set for this type of race. Spolinova, you couldn't fold her at all. So, but in a nutshell, Kenny, I'm a Sunline fan, and let's hope she goes out and gives them a good spanking.
Okay, thank you very much. There's Foxwood in centre screen. I should point out, if you saw Bonanova going in earlier with that blanket on her, don't worry, she's not going to wear that in the race. That's just to get her into the barrier. All right, Simon O'Donnell, your last thought as we see it 2:30 for the favourite.
I think a 3-year-old race, Sunline, Lease, and don't forget Mosman.
Sunline, Lease, and don't forget Mosman from Simon O'Donnell. And as Foxwood takes her place in the line, she's TAB number 7. And I think we're just waiting for Catlin Opening now to go in out wide or in the centre of the field. And there's one or two still to come forward. They'll take their place and we'll all be ready. Al Mansour has moved in out wide. I think they're ready. Let's go to Terry Bailey for the Star City Doncaster.
Doncaster handicap. Starter on his stand, lights are ablaze. To jump and they're racing. Iron Horse Slay to go with Rustic Dream, Mr. Innocent Adam, and Sunline came out of the gates quickly. Foxwood going forward over Mossman. Al Mansour coming across from Palaya, not far away. Catlin Opening. Referral going through the field from Dracula. Juggler well back in the field. They were followed going around them by Lease very quickly. Iron Horse was next of all. On the fence then is Zapor. Rustic Dream beaten for speed. He's well back with Dodge. They were followed by Dracula on the outside. Then came Morphe and Anthems at the tail of the field.